On the news tonight, President Buhari to unveil redesigned Naira notes tomorrow. Court orders INEC to resume CVR until 90 days to election. Or should local government councils, LCDAs, get new secretaries? Turkey is planning to deploy ground forces against Turkish forces. Good evening. Welcome to the Major Report. A sincere apology for bringing you the news a bit behind schedule. It was due to circumstances beyond our control. Now, the Major Report. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the commercial production of crude oil and gas from the Kulawi Integrated Project. The project is located along the fields of Gombe and Bauchi State Kulmana project with oil prospecting license 809 and 810 lies in the Gongola Basin of the Upper Benue through straddling the two northern states. The field, according to its promoters, is to start producing about 50,000 barrels of crude oil per day and hold over 1 billion barrels of crude oil reserves, shooting up Nigeria's oil reserves to over 38 billion barrels. In his address at the event, President Buhari said the facilities attracted $3 billion worth of investment despite the lack of appetite in the oil sector. The governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has announced that President Muhammadu Buhari will tomorrow unveil newly designed 1,500 and 200 Naira notes. Mr. Emefiele disclosed this today during the Apex Bank Monetary Policy Committee monthly meeting in Abuja. According to him, the CBN won't shift its deadline in exchange for newly designed notes. According to him, the CBN won't shift its deadline for all old notes to be returned to the commercial banks in exchange for newly designed ones. The CBN also hiked monetary policies to 16.5% from 15.5%, while all other parameters remain unchanged. It will be recalled that the CBN board has said the Apex Bank will issue redesigned 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes effective December 15, while the new and existing currencies will remain legal tender and circulate together until January 31, 2023. $206 billion in Naira inserted into the 2023 budget of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development by the Ministry of Finance has been disowned by the Minister in charge of the ministry, Sadiya Umar Farouk. Mrs. Farouk, who appeared before the Senate Committee on Special Duties to defend the 2023 budget, claimed that the ministry's request for some funds for some projects in the Northeast Development Commission and National Social Safety Net project in 2022 budget was not released. She said the ministry is surprised that the money put for the same project in 2023 is now 10 times the entire 2023 budget of the ministry. The chairman of the committee, Senator Yusuf therefore moved a motion to summon the Minister of Finance, Adia Zainab Ahmed, to come and give explanation on the budget. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund has revealed that its revenue collection for 2021 used for its operation in the 2022 fiscal year dropped by 68 billion naira. The executive secretary of the fund, Sonny Echono, disclosed this on a one-day meeting of the heads of beneficial institutions and public tertiary institutions with the trust fund. Echono said that the revenue collection dropped from 257 billion naira to 189 billion naira, adding that the drop in revenue amounted to 68 billion naira. He therefore said that in spite of the drop, the fund was able to move from 189 billion naira in 2021 to over 3 billion naira in 2022, adding that the increase in collection was expected to increase disbursement to beneficiary institutions in 2023. Echelons also noted that the president is committed to increasing the funding for education, and with support of the National Assembly, the tax rate was increased from 2 to 2.5%, adding that the step is deliberate effort at mobilizing resources for the fund. He further said that the 2022 zonal intervention will focus on improving and expanding its ICT capabilities to catch up with the rest of the world in its ICT space for needed national development. The renewed call by the ethnic nationalities for the renegotiation of Nigeria's unity has been generating reactions among Nigerians. Those who spoke in separate interviews before Osbc News maintain that any nation that wants peace must uphold the principles of justice, fairness, and equity. Our reporter, Oluchi Amuda, now completes the story.
The decision of the ethnic nationality groups in Nigeria, including Afenifere, Ohaneze Ndigbo, Northern Elders Forum, among others, unanimously calling for the urgent renegotiation of the unity of Nigeria, has continued to generate reactions among the people. The groups had maintained that Nigeria's unity is negotiable and must be renegotiated for it to survive the test of time. Reacting to this, a human rights activist, Comrade Wale Adebisi, stated that it is not enough for the ethnic nationality leaders to merely repeat what many Nigerians have been clamoring for over the years, but spoke on the need to fashion out ways and manners such renegotiations will take to avoid confusion, adding that the country is overripe for it.
1914 amalgamation is the negotiation of the amalgamation of the northern and the southern protectorate. That is with the British colonial administration led by Sir Lord Lugard. But who are we really negotiating with now? Are we renegotiating with ourselves? Or are we saying that there should be a sovereign national conference that will involve all ethnic groups to determine the way forward for Nigeria state? You know, because when there is no equity, there will be injustice. Where there is an injustice, there will be, a lot of oppressions and all that.
Speaking in the same vein, another analyst, Comrade Michael Ebofin, said the renewed clamor for the renegotiation of Nigeria's unity is coming at the right time, most especially now that the various ethnic groups are agitating for one thing or the other.
If we want to really talk about Nigeria, we've been having a lot of constitutional conferences and a lot of things. What are the outcomes? What we really need to come to speak about now is getting to a round table to really speak to ourselves and speak to the Constitution as it affects everyone to be in a country, and even for those who are resident, who belong to that country, to even have whatever belongs to them. There should be fairness, there should be justice, and there should be equal right.
They called on the government to listen to the voice of the people and enthrone a just, equitable, and egalitarian society. Oluchi Amuda, Osbc News.
Nigerians have lauded the decision of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to track the income and expenditure of political parties in Nigeria. Those who spoke with Osbc News advised the anti-graft agency to install sanity in the electoral process and reduce monetary inducement by politicians. Our reporter, Oluwatobilo Badunuga, now completes the story.
Controversies have been trailing the mandatory action required of banks, primary mortgage institutions, insurance companies, microfinance banks, and merchant banks, among others, to report suspicious transactions by political parties and their candidates to the NFIU and the EFCC for necessary action. Apart from bank managers, it was also learned that the anti-graft agencies had given the chief compliance officers of banks a strict directive to enforce the necessary protocol against money laundering in their respective financial institutions. The compliance officers were expected to report suspicious transactions by political parties and their candidates to the NFIU and the EFCC for action. Findings also indicate that the financial intelligence agencies were equally monitoring the bureau de change operators following reports that some of them were assisting politicians to clean up their looted funds. Speaking on this development, respondents including Mr. Yoademi Kola and Comrade Wahid Lawal maintained that the move by the EFCC at this point in time might look like a witch hunt, but that is the right thing to do, adding that it will favor Nigerians if appropriately implemented. They noted that the EFCC operation would help curb vote buying during the election, urging the anti-graft agency to expose and prosecute anyone found culpable.
If it will be thoroughly done, it is a nice step. But if it is other way around, I don't think there is need for it to do it, in order not to be effort in futility.
Ordinarily, AFCC should be able to monitor the campaign fund very well, so that we have a very good and decent campaign. But the way EFCC are working these days shows that EFCC is not even serious in tracking even the money they were talking about. But by and large, if they were able to do it, we salute their courage and we praise them for doing it.
The duo of Mr. Yoademi Kola and Comrade Lawal maintained that the outcome is what matters to Nigeria, adding that sooner or later the EFCC's decision will make people to be conscious of how to use monetary inducement on people. Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga, Osbc News.
A federal high court in Abuja today ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to immediately resume the continuous voter registration until 90 days before the 2023 general election. Justice Ian Ekwo, in a judgment, also directed INEC to ensure eligible Nigerians are not deprived of the opportunity to have the voters card for the forthcoming poll. Justice Ekwo held that it is the constitutional responsibility of the electoral umpire to make adequate provisions for the exercise in accordance with Nigerian laws. Reports say that the Ajanat, Salmat, and three others had sued INEC by the sole defendant in suit in originating summons filed before the court. They urged the court to order the electoral umpire to resume the exercise in accordance with the laws of the land. Osun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal deferred ruling till Friday, and in an order application filed by counsel to the first and second petitioner to subpoena the Chief National Electoral Commissioner to appear before the tribunal to produce some documents that may assist the petitioners to pursue their case further. Adeyemi Abodele, who was part of today's proceeding, now reports that the tribunal also adjourned further hearing till Friday. This report.
At the resumed sitting of the Osun Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, all expectations were on the appearance of the state INEC resident electoral commissioner in compliance with the subpoena issued by the tribunal to that effect. However, counsel to INEC, Professor Paul Ananaba, SAN, informed the tribunal that due to late withdrawal of the counter application on the subpoena on the previous day, the state INEC resident electoral commissioner was not duly communicated, which was responsible in his absence. A deputy director, election and party management, Mr. Shehu Mohammed, stood in. The absence of INEC resident electoral commissioner did not go down well with counsel to the first and second petitioners, Chief Akin Olujimi, SAN, who told the tribunal that since a subpoena has been issued for the production of some document by INEC resident electoral commissioner, such must be obeyed. After argument and counter-argument from both counsels to the petitioners and respondents on whether the subpoena still exists or not, after the appearance of an INEC official, counsel to the petitioners, Chief Akin Olujimi, moved an oral application to subpoena the Chief National Electoral Commissioner before the tribunal in respect of the document in contest. In his ruling, chairman of the three-member panel, Justice Tesi Kume, reserved ruling on the oral application till Friday. At the resumption of the tribunal from a short break, counsel to the first and second petitioners, Chief Akin Olujimi, informed the tribunal of the petitioner's intention to drop 3 additional witnesses from the list of witnesses expected to appear today. leaving it with only one star witness, Mr. Razak Adioshun, who deposed to the fact that he was the petitioner's state coalition officer during the July 16 governorship election in the state. According to Adioshun, his analysis of results as submitted by the APC agents showed alleged irregularities in 749 polling units, which spread across 10 local governments in contest during the Guba poll. Under cross-examination by counsels to first, second, and third respondent, Professor Paul Ananaba Onyechi Ikpeazu and Dr. Alex Izion, all senior advocates of Nigeria, Razak Adioshun submitted that he stood by the oath he took on the alleged overvoting and irregularities during the 2020 Osun Guba poll as contained in the petition submitted. The tribunal thereafter adjourned further hearing of the petition till Friday. Speaking with OSBC News shortly after the sitting, counsels to the petitioners, Chief Akin Olujimi, and the first and third respondents, Paul Ananaba and Alex Izion, expressed satisfaction with the proceedings.
The subpoena that we served on the resident electoral commissioner, they failed to produce the document. And the proper thing for us to do was to apply for the committal to prison of the resident electoral commissioner, but we wanted to give him a second chance by asking the court to direct him all over again to produce that document at the next date of adjournment in this matter.
God, their star witness today. We've concluded with that witness. They did not file any schedule for any other witness. So, because the court will deliver ruling on the issue of the subpoena on Friday, that's why the matter is now adjourned. They don't have witnesses to fill now. If they had witnesses, would have continued this evening and tomorrow and all that. So, since they did not file a schedule on Friday, the court will deliver ruling as to whether what to do with the subpoena. And if the court agrees with us, if the court does not agree with us, the court will take further steps.
But the petitioner said that he's withdrawing 4 of them, and he doesn't want to feed them again. So they were struck out from the list, and then we took the one witness that was remaining. We duly cross-examined him, and it was now adjourned on Friday for the ruling relating to the subpoena, which was issued to the resident electoral officer to produce some document. There were arguments for and against it, and we'll wait for the ruling on Friday and the continuation of the petitioner's case.
The tribunal had earlier granted application by the petitioners to amend statement of evidence of the witnesses. Adeyemi Aboderin, OSBC News.
A short commercial break.
Breakfast. Get smooth to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
The state governor, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, has approved the appointment of secretaries for all local government council and local council development areas of the state. A statement personally signed by Governor Adegboyega Oyetola says the appointment of local government secretaries take immediate effect. Now to our sports story. Commercial break.
A peak protein breakfast. Get smooth to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your your peak.
Over now to Omotayo Adebodun, our sports stories.
Saudi Arabia recorded one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history after securing a surprise 2-1 comeback win against Lionel Messi-led Argentina today in Group C. For the first time since 1990, Argentina have lost their opening Europa Conference League, and the winger joins Villarreal in 2017 and made 178 appearances for the club. Omotayo Adebodun, Osbc News.
Let's now join Sarah Omidele for our foreign report.
Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said that Ankara is planning to deploy ground forces to attack Kurdish forces based across the border in Syria. According to reports, the ministry said cross-sword operation, which also included land-fired weapons, killed 184 fighters and destroyed 89 targets, including shelters, bunkers, and growing concerns peak from April, and about half of the total infections are in the southern city of Ganzab, as well as the southwestern municipalities of Chengoin. Sarah Omidele, Osbc News.
That is the major report on Osbc TV. It was edited by Michael Adini. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Good night.
My name is Femi Adebayo. This holiday season, StarTimes is taking us to a better level. You can step up your family entertainment with the StarTimes upgrade promo. You recharge 2 months on Nova Bouquet and get upgraded to Basic or Smart Bouquet. Recharge 2 months on Basic or Smart Bouquet, you get upgraded to Classic or Super Bouquet. And if you recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet, you get 10 days free on your subscription. This upgrade automatically qualifies you for a weekly draw to win 55-inch Smart TV, PS systems, home appliances, and more. These prizes are proudly sponsored by Long Reach, Wayon, and Amaz. This promo is from the 15th November to 15th January 2023. Times and conditions apply. On StarTimes, every day is the best day ever. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. StarTimes, entertain your family.